So I think there is something that we could describe as a salah crisis, right? Or a prayer crisis, in the sense that if we understand that God is inviting us to turn up before him, 5 times in the day and the evening. If you add it all up, we're talking about an hour out of 24, at most, really. There's two aspects to what this salah crisis, as I see it. Number one is that when this window of opportunity comes for us to stand in salah before our Lord, then so many of us just miss the appointment. So here, God is inviting us, and we're basically saying, now we're too busy for you. When we do stand in prayer, is this really a meaningful interaction? In the opening chapter of the Quran, one of the verses is, and the central verse in some ways, in terms of what the point of that chapter is for us, is saying, Ihdina Salat al-Mustaqim, which means guide us on the straight path. So actually a central part of this prayer is this request for guidance. We've stopped in our journey and we're standing and we're saying, God help us, I'm trying to move towards you, right? Help me, you can navigate all of this stuff. Many of us, when we that phrase, we don't even know what the phrase means in the first place. Secondly, even if we do know what it means, when we say it, we're not actually conscious of what we're saying. We're not actually thinking, I'm asking for guidance right now. It just becomes another thing that we're saying. So it becomes sounds without meaning. And then the prayer becomes also motions without emotions, right? And that's what ends up taking place. So that, I think, is a crisis, because I always say to people, there is no other situation in your life where you will speak with anybody in a language that you don't understand, and then also claim for it to be a meaningful interaction. Because there are so many levels of emotion that we could actually say that phrase with, guide us on the straight path. If you think about somebody who's casually asking for directions versus somebody who's really lost and they feel really desperate. So it's almost like, are we coming to God like with really a sense of need and helplessness almost, which is important for us to, I think, show before our Lord, right? In order to be given sort of grace and blessings and support and everything else. So that's just one small example, but there are so many throughout the prayer where we're saying things we don't understand, and that you can't express meaningfully, and that I think is a major issue.